17 races down in the 2025 1UP Nitro National Series regular season, one to go, and it is here at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, under the lights for 40 laps this evening to determine which 12 drivers will race for a championship in a few weeks' time. We've already got 5 drivers locked in on their points, and we've got 13 drivers fighting it out for the remaining 7 spots. This night's sure to be the highest of highs for some and the lowest of lows for others. Some will get in, some will not. Who will it be? We'll find out at the end of 40 laps tonight. And alongside me in the booth to bring you all the action for tonight's race is Duke Ansack with us once again. And, well, this is the one that everybody's been looking forward to. The big race at Daytona to set our playoff field.
I know, and what a better venue to do it than Daytona International Speedway, a fantastic place for a race, and it is going to be so much fun. And I know, I just cannot wait for some high speed, high intensity, high action, densely packed race cars. I mean, it is going to be intense today, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but we all know how this race is going to go. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be intense. There's going to be a lot of different leaders. There's going to be a lot of different moving around, comers and goers, people in the front, people in the back. However, the big story, as you mentioned, is the playoff standings, and this is maybe the most exciting part of this race. We have several drivers from 10th all the way through 17th in our standings that realistically have a shot at making it into the playoffs in this race. All of them are starting within the top 15 today at Daytona. Tell me that you can write a better story. I wouldn't believe you, because this is going to be a fantastic race. A lot of fast cars, a lot of desperate drivers. It's going to be great.
And you mentioned it, those point standings, which we can give you a look at right now. This is your last chance to see who makes it in and who doesn't. And you said it, at the cut line, oh so tight between Angel Gutierrez clinging on to that 12th spot with all his strength, and Cameron Brennan only 2 points behind. He won this race last year, and I'm sure he is very determined to either replicate that win or just have a good enough day to secure himself a spot in the top 12. Ryan Arnold, after that engine failure at Darlington last time out, he's only +4 to the cut line. He needs a strong day. Otherwise, Farron-Co Racing could risk missing the playoffs entirely. And you mentioned up to 10th in points. Let's not forget guys like Eric DeMax in 8th, Jensen Nomina in 9th. They're not completely out of the woods yet. They're +27, +23, but that's not safe, especially at a place like this.
No, it certainly isn't, and this is, we saw it last week with Ryan Arnold. I mean, it wasn't even a situation where we were at a track like Daytona where pretty much anything can happen that isn't even your fault. Ryan Arnold was putting together a fantastic day, and then just like that, out of nowhere, Ryan Arnold, terrible result in that race, not due to his own doing, and now sitting just +4 over the cut line, needing a good result today, and I desperately needing a good result today.
And with that being said, we can now bring you the starting lineup for tonight's 40 laps of action, and it's Braden Varga on pole position. Of course, he's already locked up his spot into the top 12, but I'm sure another win for the 9 team will go a long way towards his playoff standing. Jake McMillan is the points leader. He starts all the way down in 21st, but he has a mission tonight too, to lock up that regular season championship. He's got one hand on it already, but he needs to keep Brendan Smith at bay. Smith starts in the 8th position for good measure, so that 21 is going to have some work to do to make his way through the pack and secure that regular season title, and with it, the 15 bonus points that come with.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got a ton of battles. This is going to be so much fun to watch. It's all happening at Daytona right now. I cannot wait to see some cars on the track.
Neither can I, and I bet neither can anyone else watching along. So with that being said, we've got 42 cars ready to take to the track at Daytona, and we're ready to bring you that action now. It's the 1UP Nitro National Series regular season finale from the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, and the green flag is coming at you momentarily, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be big. It all comes down to this. 42 cars turn their attention to the starting line. It is Varga and KJ Hayes on the front row. Career best start for that 32. We're underway at Daytona, and it looks as though Braden Varga, with a push from his fellow Chevrolet Angel Gutierrez, is going to get the launch going into turn 1. But Gutierrez is a little slow in the second phase of the start. He's already facing pressure from Ryan Arnold.
Yeah, he is. And look at this. They're already 3 wide there in the third row. Oh, kind of not really 3 wide. They're going to settle it out back to 2 wide. We're going to see, though, the inside lane, these cars not fully up to speed yet, but we're going to see today the inside lane have a bit of an advantage, you know, in a colder racetrack due to the nighttime conditions. They should be running that inside, the shorter distance around the track, to great effect. We'll see people moving up through the field when they're running on that inside lane.
And right now, it's our 2 front row starters, Varga and Hayes, who have cleared the 2 wide formation of the rest of the pack. And it'll be Braden Varga through the tri-oval to complete the first lap in the lead. That's a bonus point in his pocket. Not that he really needed it, considering he's locked in already. But several guys behind him, like Ryan Arnold, Angel Gutierrez, they are absolutely going to need those bonus points to cement their position in that top 12.
Yeah, you know, and here's a big move from Ryan Arnold. I think looking for a little bit of redemption from last week, but now stuck kind of in that second row, side by side, both chasing Braden Varga, who leads the way. And we've seen the Team Duke cars in the past at the Super Speedways do really well. You can see the other 2 Team Duke cars there on the outside lane, the 3 and the 8. They are both looking to have massive days to try to make their way into the playoffs. Both of them are 32 and 41 points back. It would have to be a miracle for those 2 drivers to make it into the playoffs that we have here. So now continuing to lead the way is the 9 car, and they're starting to kind of pull away a little bit and kind of single file out towards the front. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting a bit of a denser pack here early in the going at Daytona.
Yeah, and I wanted to give a quick mention while we were focused on him. David Richardson in that 76. We know he's going to Fair & Co. Racing next season, but he still has to finish his tenure with BTB Motorsports this year, and he had a really good starting spot, 7th place. Now he's getting swamped a little bit by Hayes and Gutierrez, but he was running as high as 3rd for a brief moment. Very good for the rookie driver.
Yeah, and look at this, side by side for the lead now, but they're 3 wide behind them, so you have to ask. I mean, they're punching a big hole through the air. It looks like Ryan Arnold is going to just barely lead this lap. Just barely led the lap that time, so an extra little point for Ryan Arnold right there. But we're going to see what happens with the rest of the field. Looks like the 32 is going to be caught out to dry on the outside, and I'll be honest, I was expecting more movement and more forward and back from the inside or the outside lane. I thought one of them was going to be a little bit more dominant today, and here we are. Both lanes have been stagnant so far in this race. Nobody can go anywhere.
Yeah, we got a bit of a gridlock at the front of this field right now, but it's consistency that keeps you out front in these things, with Braden Varga and Ryan Arnold side by side for the lead. Through the tri-oval they go. Varga will lead the lap once again, but Ryan Arnold, I have a feeling, has a really good car under him. He just needs that little bit of an extra push from perhaps the 72. And look down below, the 18 of Mac Johnson getting a push from Alexa Luchon. The 31 and the 86 behind her, Cameron Brennan. They really need strong runs to boost themselves into contention.
Well, that's going to really jumble everybody up now that we've got 2-3 cars there kind of in the middle lane, kind of between our 2 lanes that we've had for most of this race. So on lap 5, we're starting to go 3 wide here at Daytona International Speedway, and it's going to be fascinating to see who is able to stick with that middle lane and what happens with the middle lane. Usually it just kind of stalls everybody out, but we've been fairly stalled out all day or all night so far. So this is going to be interesting to watch and see what happens. But it's the 76 right now pushing Arnold on the inside, and it looks like the 01 is going to be clear for the lead here. So now what can the 01 do out front? Can he do what Braden Varga did for several laps and block both those lanes and keep the lead?
Well, I for one, oh, yep, here we go. Cameron Brennan, he does not want to waste any time to get to the front. He pulls down out of line on Alexa Luchon, and he's going to try and bring Sam Odoskin in the 43 with him. Cameron Brennan's on a mission tonight. He entered this race 2 points below the cut line. He needs a good day to make the top 12, and he is on it tonight. He's already getting past Angel Gutierrez. That's the car he needs to beat, and as they run right now, he would be in.
Yeah, so this is a really big moment in this race because we've got a lot of cars now kind of spread all across the track, not really a lot of organization in the middle and top lanes right now, and this is where incidents happen because people are trying to find a space to be. People are trying to move around left to right, trying to see who they can draft with, who they want to be pushed by, and look at that, all in the back of the pack. That's how accidents happen here at Daytona, and there's a lot of drivers up front right now that do not need to be in a crash this early in the race. So yeah, this is a really dangerous situation where there's so many cars so close to each other. Every single car still running in this race right now, and they are all in this one camera shot on the front straightaway at Daytona. What a sight to see, and they're 4 wide, and this is really dangerous going into turn 1.
Yeah, that's not that's not usually what ends well here at Daytona, but it looks like Sam Oskin's going to try and back off, slide in behind Richardson in the 76. Well, they're going to make it.
It is so close.
But they do settle it back out to 3 wide, which is good news. But for Cameron Brennan, he's got all that in his rearview mirror. He wants the lead of this race, and he wants it right now as he dives down to the inside of Ryan Arnold for this race lead.
Yeah, he's only 2 points behind Angel Gutierrez going in to this race right on the cut line. And you can see Gutierrez third, actually more like 4th or 5th on the outside lane, the 72 car, and Brennan right here battling for the lead up front. So that would put Brennan in right now and Gutierrez out if it were to end on this lap. However, there's still 31 to go, so you just have to be careful in this one. But Brennan thinks that the most safe place to be is leading the race, and he's going to really try to get there past Ryan Arnold.
And look at that white car coming up the middle. That's Jake McMillan, the regular season points leader, trying to win that regular season championship. He's got a big points lead over Brandon Smith, but he needs to cement himself in that position, and he's doing a good job right now running just outside of Eric DeMax. And look at the car behind the 16. That's Joseph Shrigley in the 63. Last time we saw him in the series, he pulled off a miracle last lap pass at Vermont to take that victory. He took a week off at Darlington. Wasn't really his decision to take that week off, but he's back here at Daytona already running back in the top 10.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that driver is hungry for another win. I think that this is a breakout situation for Joseph Shrigley because, you know, after a big win right there and now running up front again, that 63 car has some performance in the driver as well. So it's going to be fun to see what happens for the future of him going forward in this series, but especially today as well. And right now, things are getting a little bit more interesting up front. Brennan getting a push from the 16, but Ryan Arnold on the outside lane not having any help, so falling back a little bit. And I think that Brennan should be able to get clear, and there goes Shrigley to the bottom, 3 wide in row 2.
Brennan does lead the lap, and critically, Arnold needs to fall back to his teammate, Terzic, in the 10. That's his main drafting partner right now. That's who he needs to work with. Those two both need good days, especially that 10 car who enters this race 41 points below the cut line. He needs an absolute miracle today to get himself into the top 12. But look at Shrigley down on the bottom. He's getting a push from Nathan Meyer in the 77 and Jared Schenk in the 95. He's another Schenk in that 95 car. We saw him on the podium last time we were at Daytona in his series debut. Could he try and go one or two better and try and find himself in victory lane at the end of the night?
Yeah, I think that every single one of these drivers in the pack still right now, which is all of them who started the race, are feeling like they've got a shot to possibly get up there and win it as long as they can catch the air just right to get up front. And I think that now we are about, we're 12 laps into this race. We're just over a quarter distance in this race. And I think that people's tires are starting to feel the effects of the heat building in the racetrack, the heat building in the tires through every single corner. They're wearing away a little bit, and now handling is becoming just ever so slightly an issue, enough that that inside lane is starting to gain a little bit of momentum, and they're kind of moving a little bit faster around this track. And I think that it's going to be interesting to watch maybe cars like the 30 car back there on the inside lane. Let's see how long it takes for car number 30 on the inside to get to the front. It's going to really show us where that inside lane is. I think that's going to be critical later in this race to see where you could possibly be farther back in the pack and how fast you could get towards the front.
Last time across the line, it was Joseph Shrigley who led that lap. The second lap led of his one-up career. The first was the last lap at Vermont when he won that race. But he's led another one here tonight. I think he's going to face a little bit of pressure from Cameron Brennan on that outside. That 86 really wants to have another good day at Daytona. And right behind him, right behind the 63, I should say, is Nathan Meyer in the 77. We know this is his last season in the game, and he has been sneaky good on the super speedways in his time here. Maybe he can pull one last win out of his pocket, but now Shank pulls out on him to make it 3 wide.
Yeah, it's stuck in the middle right there for the 77, and we're going to see. This is going to be interesting because we haven't really seen, sometimes there's a bit of a tunnel effect, like a suction tunnel all the way to the back at Daytona. Today, we haven't seen it. People are trying to use that middle lane to their advantage, like you can see the 21 car. Jake McMillan now to the middle lane inside of the top lane, trying to make up some momentum, trying to pass that 10 car.
And look who's right behind Jared Shank. It's the 2020 Superstar Series champion, Stephen Hunter, in his third career Nitro National Series start, and he has fought his way to the front of this field. He started this race down the order. He started in 30th spot, and he's now already up to the top 10, that 13, making some decent headway in the opening 14 laps.
Boy, and it just took about a half of a lap with one car who got caught out in the middle lane to make the whole field go 3 wide all the way around this track. Just an incredible style of racing. It is so fascinating to watch all the cars and all these drivers navigate every single little bit of the draft and this track and just everything that's going on, racing with each other, doing a fantastic job so far. 15 laps into this race, everybody has kept it very clean. There was one scary moment that we had with 4 wide with a little bit of contact, and everybody held on to it, and we're looking really good right now. All these playoff cars.
I see another little bit of 4 wide, a little further back in the pack.
After all I said, don't throw it away.
Whoa, Tegan Fox! Fox saves it. Buchholz down on the apron of the track. He comes up. He gets in the Mesky, goes into the wall. The caution is going to fly for this. The big one at Daytona. Varga involved. Richardson involved. Aiden Clare upside down.
Oh my goodness, and that is certainly going to be the end of the day for Aiden Clare. Oh, needed a great day. That is a disaster going into turn 1. They all tried to save it, but Jacob Buchholz just had too much speed on the apron, and you really can't turn probably on the brake going into that corner, and just slid up into the pack. Oh, and there's nothing you can do. Wow, I was just saying how clean everybody had kept it, and then they wrecked into 1. Oh.
And that's a shame for David Richardson. He was having a really good day up to that point when he gets involved in this accident. Mike Edwards also involved. Robert Weaver got himself caught up into that mess. But Cameron Brennan will lead the field back to the caution flag. Our first of the night here on lap number 17 for a multi-car pileup into turn 1. That's going to likely end the day for our pole sitter, Braden Varga. Thankfully, he's already locked in to the top 12.
Yeah, he certainly is. He was sitting 4th in the championship standings going into this race, locked into the playoffs. So not that big of a deal for team number 9. They're going to turn around and be part of the... Oh, my gosh, and look at this. We've got a huge stack up on the back of the... Oh, my goodness.
Oh, boy. This could be bad for a lot of...
Yeah, Vermont.
Well, it's not as bad as we saw there because it shouldn't happen again. But the bad news for a lot of guys, Salmon Oskin was having a good run. Jensen Nomina in the 62 entered this race 23 points above the cut line, and this could be a disaster for not only his race, but for his playoff hopes as well.
Yeah, that is a really, really tough break for them. Oh my goodness, this race has been turned upside down. We're not even halfway through, and we've got all this drama.
Yeah, well, looks like Keon Daly, unrelated to the incident, he's got a flat tire and is going to bring it to pit road. Maybe he ran over something on the lap after the caution came out. But he's going to lead about a dozen or so cars down the pit lane. How many of them will be able to continue on? Can't imagine too many of those. It all starts in the tri-oval, 4 wide, and Fox and Buchholz get together. The 44 saves it, comes back up the track, carries on. But when Buchholz tries to do the same in the turn 1, he's just carrying too much momentum. Meske gets by unscathed, but everybody behind not as fortunate.
Yeah, and then that 00 went for quite the ride, barrel rolling all the way down. It was just a bad angle coming down off the track onto the apron, just lifted that car over and caught the wheels on the asphalt. And oh my gosh, yeah, but you said it there. Going into turn 1, just nothing really that Buchholz could do. Stuck below the line on the apron and then hit that banking and then just got sent up the track.
So we're looking at this from Braden Varga. He was in the mid-pack, right ahead of Richardson. Yeah, I don't know what more Buchholz could have done there because it's just an unfortunate situation where you're carrying so much speed into that corner. And you're right, though. Aiden Clare with a wild tumble down the apron of the track. There's so many good cars that didn't deserve to have this happen to them, but sure enough, it collected so many. So this was what took place under the caution flag. I think it started up with Ben McDonnell in the 82. Chris Lattimore in the 11 struggling to slow down, gets hit by the 32, the 38, the 18. They just all start piling in, one after the other. That was more of a miscommunication between the 82, the 11, possibly the 28 as well. That's the far side of the track. The spotters aren't as much use back there, and sure enough, this is the end result that can happen.
You know, and even with the binoculars from the spotter stand, I mean, it is a very flat part of racetrack. So, you know, when you've got cars on the inside, they're kind of blocking everybody else, and it's just a high closing rate back there, and nobody could hit the brakes fast enough.
And look at all the cars out of the race as a result of this. We've got Wyatt O'Quinn out, Mac Johnson out, Jensen Nomino, Sam Odoskin, Blair in the 5, Braden Varga, Zhao in the 12, Aiden Clare, Mike Edwards, all out of the race as a result of this melee or the stack up that came after it. Robert Weaver and David Richardson, they're trying to catch back up to the pack. They're a lap down each, and I would imagine they're going to be sent to the tail end of the longest line for the upcoming restart. But that's if they can continue on. I think they're just trying to cycle laps so they can be placed ahead of those who have already retired. Yeah, that could be the case, you know. And a lot of, you know, if there are any cars still remaining in this race after that have had gotten some damage, you know, if your favorite driver was in that, don't fear, you know, it's not the end of the world right now. It might be the end of contention for a win. However, you know, you could be in a situation where you get kind of in the middle of the draft and you're got somebody pushing, you're following somebody, and maybe that damage isn't that big of a deal anymore, and you can ride around, maybe even get yourself a top 10, especially if there's some more incidents in this race. And honestly, I wouldn't rule it out. I think that we might see a couple more incidents in this race. You got to remember, though, this is one of those tracks where they do clock you for minimum speed, and if you're not able to get up to speed quick enough after the restart, maybe you're... Regardless, it could transpire that way, where you could be black flagged for that, and that could just end your day anyway. So, not saying to give up yet, but I'm just saying it's a possibility out there. But we're looking to the pace car, hoping the lights go out this time. Sure enough, they do. Bit of a halftime break, really, for this race. We'll get a restart on lap 21 with 20 laps of this race still to go.
Yeah, so, I mean, we just saw how it all plays out in the first half of this race. Like you said, this is a little bit of an unofficial halftime. And everybody knows now what's on the table. We know where how the lanes were kind of operating, what the momentum was like going into that incident right there. And, you know, it really didn't feel like an aggressive driving incident. I mean, it's not like everybody was out there racing crazy or anything. It was just a little bit of incidental contact in a bad part of the track that led to a tough situation for a lot of drivers, especially him, Jacob Buchholz there. But, you know, it's we'll see what happens. We'll see who, though, is going to be able to take advantage of this restart with, you know, the single file restart. It's going to be a little bit different than the start of the race when they were double file. It's going to be fascinating to see once they drop that green flag, they're going to get up to speed or, you know, getting into turn 3. It's going to be interesting to watch how it all plays out.
So those two lap cars, they are at the tail end of the field for the restart as expected. Cameron Brennan gonna lead us back to the restart on lap 21, and hopefully this will be our only restart of the night, because I'm very excited to see more of that 2 and 3 wide we saw at the start. Green flag back in the air. We're racing once again at Daytona.
Yeah, we certainly are. And look at that. Everybody drops to the bottom pretty quickly. And Cameron Brennan has got out to a fairly significant lead over Shrigley and everybody behind. I think that could be a disadvantage unless they get too wide behind them, which they will. So the 95 now to the inside. And look how quickly they're going to go too wide all the way into turn 2 right here. We're double file already in this one.
And that's music to Cameron Brennan's ears. He wants to see them side by side for a while anyway, but Jared Shank's able to sort it out behind him, and with Shrigley pushing, will the 95 try and make a move into turn 3? Doesn't look like it, but look at Ryan Arnold. He's got a really fast car tonight, and if he can get to the front again, look out. But right now, speaking of the front, Jared Shank to the race lead, past Cameron Brennan with a push from Joseph Shrigley.
And Shank just took advantage of a good situation there, a big draft off of Cameron Brennan, who didn't have any help out front and then got low with a little bit of help from the 63, was able to make that pass. But now watch Shrigley to the bottom trying to pass Shank. So that 63 car showing a little bit of muscle now on the inside lane with help from the 13.
That 13 being Stephen Hunter, of course, a former champion of the Superstar Series with 8 career wins over there. But this is only his 3rd career Nitro National Series start, and he's looking to try and get a win here in the 2nd division with a push from Ryan Arnold, Alexa Lucian. You got to remember, for the likes of Lucian, Brennan, and a few others like the Max back there as well, it's still not over. Their race for the playoffs is still very much alive, and they got to be thinking about points, especially considering Jensen Nomina out of the race already.
Yeah, and, this is a big opportunity for a lot of drivers now, and it seems like some of the drivers that may not have had a chance might have a chance now. And it's Ryan Arnold to the inside with help from Lucian, a driver that needs to have a good run today, only +9 coming into this race. And there they are to the inside, 3 wide, and Ryan Arnold back to the front. And I think that 01 car is going to be really difficult to beat today. That 01 car of Ryan Arnold has been just fantastic, and every time that he's gotten out front, he's the only driver who has gotten out front, fallen back, and then gotten back to the front so far in this race. We'll see what he can do now that he's got some clean air on the nose of that machine.
Let's not discount the green car on the inside line. That's David Meske in the 29. Oh, we got a little bit of contact here between McMillan and Meyer. They save it out of the tri-oval. Very impressive to avoid a repeat of what we had earlier in the race. But going back to what I was saying about David Meske, he is a former winner in the Nitro National Series at Daytona. He won the season opener last year, but that was with a different team. Wouldn't he love to get his first win with Fingai Saitomi Motorsports here to get his first 2 wins in the series at Daytona?
Yeah, and I think that we have a danger zone developing here at Daytona just coming out of the tri-oval. The cars are really light coming out of the tri-oval. It's a higher banked little part of the track. It's almost like a 5th corner, if you will, here at Daytona. And you come off of that, the banking falls off and your car gets really, really light. So any contact will kind of send you a little bit one way or the other. And I swear, Jake McMillan was staring at the pit lane out the windshield after that, and he was able to get that car back up on the track without any issue, without even losing a spot. An incredible job from him and the 77 to keep everything under control, and we stay green here at Daytona without a crash.
And with a still pretty decent-sized pack to race with here at Daytona. Look at all these cars still in contention to win this thing, but they're going to have to go through Ryan Arnold to make it happen. This 01 car blistering quick, and look at the lead he's building over the pack. I think he's got to be careful not to get too big a lead, but at the same time, I think he's got it pretty much under control right now.
Yeah, I know. You really have to be careful when you get that far out ahead, because you're going to lose a lot of momentum in comparison to the rest of the field. So it's going to depend on when they get there, but these guys are going to be heading towards with a huge head of steam. And if you catch the right run, we saw it happen to Cameron Brennan on the opening lap after the restart. We'll see what happens to Ryan Arnold with the 13 chasing closely behind.
And Stephen Hunter is no stranger to these stock car battles. He's been a veteran of this for so long. He took some time off from 2022 to 2025, but he's back right now, racing at the front of the field at Daytona, right back in his element, and I would not be surprised one bit to see him win this race, or perhaps even tomorrow night he's racing the double.
Yeah, this is a really good driver, a really good race car. Sitting in second place right now, having a great run, and staring possibly a win right in the face. He's sitting there in second place right now, lap 27 of 40. So it's hey, I mean, it's going to be an interesting battle to the finish of this race. But I think so far, now the last time we checked in on the handling and everything, it was about a quarter of the way through the race. Now we're 3/4 through the race, and here we are, the inside lane, even stronger than it was earlier. You can see everybody kind of pushing on that inside lane, moving up through the field slowly but steadily. Eventually they get to the front, they get some clear air, they are moving to the top after that due to the handling, and then that inside lane is able to just push past everybody that moves to the top. It's a little bit slower than normal here at Daytona, but it's still happening. So watch everybody on the inside lane to try to time it out to get to the front by the end of this race. And here's the 77 making a move on the 13.
And you were talking about that inside line. Look who's at the tail end of that inside line, the 72, Angel Gutierrez. He needs to get to the front of the field in a big hurry, because as they run right now, he would be beaten by both Lucian, by Brennan, by Eric DeMax, by so many people he really can't afford to lose to right now, and that also includes his teammate Riley Hooper in the 69. He entered this race only 10 points below the cut line. That 69 is going to try and make a run at it late.
Yeah, he certainly is. That the tail end of the inside lane is absolutely where I'm watching to see who is possibly going to be at the front of this field by the end of the race, especially because just about 8 laps ago, I was watching the 3 and the 8 car. They've been working together, the Team Duke teammates. They're sitting in the back of the field. They've stayed right nose to tail for almost the entirety of this race. They sat there on the inside lane. They let the inside lane do its work, and now there they are in rows 3 and 4, just pushing each other, waiting for their chance to get to the front of this field. They both need a great result today, and I'm talking first or second for both of them if they want to have any chance of making the playoffs. They're playing it a great way, though, right now, trying to get up front.
And look who they're pushing right now, Justin Henley in the 47. He started this race in 39th. He's made his way to the front of the field, second position, as we take 11 laps to go at Daytona. So this is around the time of the race where you need to start planning your moves carefully. They could be what gets you to victory lane, or they could be what sends you out of the playoffs altogether.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out. Earl Sear right there, now looking possibly to the inside for the second position. And this is the critical part of all of this. No, is that contact right there? No, it's not. But, the critical part is that who is going to be able to pass Ryan Arnold through all of this with the bottom lane and the upward shuffling and the outside lane not being as strong. It doesn't really matter if nobody can pass our leader, and nobody's had a good opportunity to do so. I mean, he's just too fast right now.
But look what I'm noticing at the back of the field. Look who's converging on each other, the 72, the 31, the 86. They're all converging on each other. I think Ryan Arnold's feeling pretty good out front of his chances. But these three, I think, are going to be racing each other very hard for those final few playoff spots. And if any of them can get back to the front of the field, it'll probably be game over for the others.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, up front we have gone 3 wide once again in this race. The 3 in the middle now, the 29 just behind. Looks like they might settle it down into turn 3, but they're 2 wide for the second spot, and they're really far out. As soon as that field gets 3 wide, they punch a bigger hole through the air. They've got a lot more drag. They're going a little bit slower, and it allows the big gap to everybody who has kind of made it out front a little bit ahead. So that's been what's been keeping Ryan Arnold out front so far, because he's just so fast that nobody can catch up to him, and then they're all 2 wide behind him. They can't make any moves.
And speaking of drag, I'm noticing that 72, Gutierrez, he is just not able to make progress at this point in the race. He is still stuck back there with 9 laps to go. He's going to need to get a move on to try and make this championship hunt, because he is still at the very tail end of this pack with nowhere to go. And I have a feeling they're also going to clear these lap cars out of the way so we can guarantee ourselves a clean finish. Oh, here we go. They were almost 4 wide again out of turn 2, but they settle it back down. Hooper in that 69, he is making a push late in this race. And I think the Team Duke teammates have finally gotten separated. Ironhouse solidly in the top 5, but Earl Sears falling backwards on the very top of the racetrack. And Gutierrez still unable to make headway in the back of this field. I don't know if he's going to get there.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. The Team Duke teammates, it was Earl Sear who made that move to the top lane, and then it just did not work out. He got caught out to dry out in the 3rd lane. So the 3 car falling back, but that 8 car, who was 41 points out of the championship playoff going into this race, now setting himself up to possibly have a shot to make it. And here's Cameron Brennan, who was really, really fast earlier in this race, led us to the restart at lap 21. Now sitting in the back of the field, nowhere to go.
Yeah, but the good news, at least for him, he is still ahead of Angel Gutierrez, and he has that lap lead point in his pocket. So he's still to the good on the 72 right now, and I think this 72 is just not. They did not get the setup right on this car. They have been languishing at the back of the pack ever since the restart, with nowhere to go. But we have 6 laps to go in this race. Ryan Arnold has led consistently throughout. But look who's coming up on the inside. Ryan Reed in the 28. He's not locked in yet, and he's looking to do so here tonight. And behind him, Keon Daly, who had that tire go down on the yellow flag.
Yeah, and Angel Gutierrez, I do feel bad for that 72 car. I mean, they've just been stuck at the very bottom of the track back there, just nowhere to go, not really any drafting help from behind, and it's just been really, really difficult. And here's Elijah Ironhouse now in the 2nd position, and we haven't seen anybody be able to take the fight to Ryan Arnold since he took the lead a little bit earlier during this stint of the race. And we're going to see if Elijah Ironhouse has a shot. I don't know, because Ryan Reed now is to the inside of that 8 car, so I don't think that Ironhouse is ever going to get a chance to face Ryan Arnold, because now there's help on the bottom lane and there's no help for Ironhouse.
And look at this bright yellow 0 car on the inside. Cameron Lassard has not had a top 10 all season long, and the odds of him getting one today were quite slim, considering he started this race down in 41st place. But here he is, with 5 laps to go, sneaking his way to the top 5 with a shot to win this thing.
Yeah, and this pack is, it's becoming a little bit more rambunctious, I'd say. They're making a lot more moves. There's a lot more happening now. A lot more people getting up to the front, falling to the back, and then coming back up to the front. It's happening a lot faster now than it has for the rest of this race. And we'll see. We're in that zone where a caution could simply be the end of the race. So I don't know. Ryan Arnold still has not been challenged out front. We're going to see if anybody has anything for the Arnold car out front with only a few laps to go in this one.
And critically, I think by now Ryan Arnold has locked up the point for leading the most laps tonight and taken it away from Cameron Brennan in the 86 as Lassard dives down to the inside of Keon Daly. This could be a move for second position, and he's being followed by Alexa Lushon, who really needs a strong run, only 9 points above the cut line going into the day. She's not out of it yet.
Yeah, she certainly isn't. She's sitting there now in the 3rd place, and I'm also watching about 5th back on the inside lane. It is Cameron Brennan, who is now charging back towards the front on the inside lane. It looks like Ironhouse has gotten to the bottom. Ooh, and that's really going to hurt Brennan. 2 cars dropping into that inside lane ahead of the Brennan car. So that's what happens when you're running a little bit farther back, but you're just going to have to fight through it. There's only a little bit of this race left, and here's Jake McMillan now looking to the inside of Lushon trying to make a move, and still no one has anything for Ryan Arnold.
Yeah, that was Andrew Langley, who was the other car who tucked in front of Cameron Brennan on the inside line. But McMillan, I think, is pretty safe now to win the regular season championship. Brandon Smith quite a ways back in the pack, but we're coming to 2 laps to go. Alexa Lushon has established herself firmly in 2nd position. Does she have anything for this old 1 car who has been dominating the second half of this race with only 5 miles from home?
You know, it's incredible because nobody else has been able to stay steadily in the top 3 even, or the top 2 in this race, other than Ryan Arnold, who has been just dominating, like you said, leading every single lap, not giving in at all. And we're going to see if there's any opportunity for Lucian to possibly get low and make a move, or anything on the 01. Right now, they're both pretty far ahead.
Yeah,
what's going to happen?
Yeah, she's going to need some help, either from Lassard or McMillan, or even Tegan Fox back there in the 44. We're coming to the white flag right here. This is far from over, but unless Alexa Lucian can get a big push at the right time, it could be done for the white flag is out. We're on to the final lap here at Daytona.
Yeah, this is it. So Alexa Lucian, really, there's not anyone close to possibly help that 31 car right now. The 0 and the 21 are closing quickly, but I'm just not sure if there's going to be enough time. We're heading through turn 2. We've only got about half the track left, and it's the 31. No help from the 0. The 0 going low, all by himself on the inside lane. Langley going to go too wide for second.
Here we go for 3 and 4 for the final time. Lucian needs to pull down in front of Lassard to try and make a move stick, but she's not going to have the momentum to make it happen. Out of turn 4 for the final time, it will be a dominating Ryan Arnold that comes across the line for his first win of 2025 and a spot in the playoffs to boot. Excellent driving. He led over half the race, and he has more than earned his playoff spot this year.
Wow, an incredible run from Ryan Arnold there. A massive redemption after what happened last week. And just for the 01 car to make it to victory lane today is just a fantastic result for them on a day where they needed to have just a stable, steady day, stay out of incidents, keep that +4 gap, have a solid run, end up in victory lane. That's the best way to guarantee that you're going to make it into the playoffs, is just beat everyone else that you have to beat in the race. Easy said and easy done for Ryan Arnold.
Alexa Lucian finishes second. She will also race her way into the playoffs. Cameron Brennan finishes in 6th position, and he will usurp Angel Gutierrez for the final playoff spot. That's 72. Just didn't quite have the speed today, and he will miss a shot at the championship as a result.
Yeah, so great job from all those drivers as well to just stay in the playoffs and then gain that playoff spot from Cameron Brennan. Could not have been a better place to end the regular season at a deficit for Cameron Brennan, and that's fantastic news for that team to make it into the playoffs. Just a really, really great job from everybody in this race to have such a clean race. You know, we had one incident, we had one scare, but everybody did a fantastic job today. What a race. That was awesome.
Absolutely. So, from Duke Ansack and from myself as well, thanks for joining us for an epic regular season finale. We'll see you again next time at Chicagoland Speedway to get the playoffs underway. We've got 12 drivers still in it with a shot at the championship. Who's going to be the one hoisting the trophy at the end of 25 races? We'll find out then. But until we see you then, so long from Daytona. Big congrats to Ryan Arnold. He pulls it off here at Daytona.